Trading futures and options on futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although this could be an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition of risk capital is money I could afford to lose, doesn't change my lifestyle, or overly stress me out. As human beings, we make bad decisions when we're under stress, so be in a good spot. Remember, micro contracts could be friends. Take it easy on the day trade margins. You get plenty of leverage without maxing out on those day trade margins on a regular basis. We'll be taking a look at a real-time simulated live NinjaTrader trading platform today, and none of this should be construed as trade or investment advice. Past performance not indicative of future results. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed. My name is Jim Cagnina with NinjaTrader. It is the last day of the month, July 31st, 2023. Appreciate everybody being here with me today for our continuing series on the NinjaTrader platforms. Remember, there's three of them. There's the first one, right? The award-winning one where you download it and run it on your computer. And there's the second one, which we're going to start talking about today, is a web-based trading application. You access it through a web browser. And then the third one is a mobile app, which you would use probably, well, on a mobile device. I'm just saying. But anyway, we're gonna focus on the middle one today and talk about the web-based. Now, joining me live also, he's behind the scenes. He is in the chat, is Ed Jerkin. Ed is fabulous. Ed is in the Chicago headquarters. He's been with NinjaTrader for quite some time and is extraordinarily knowledgeable about all things futures trading. So if you have any questions regarding anything, really regarding NinjaTrader, reach out in the chat. If you can't find the chat, just go to ninjatrader.com/events, ninjatrader.com/events, and then you'll be able to navigate to the chat. You don't have to log in, and you can participate if you'd like. All right. Well, having said all that, let's get started here. Web-based. What does that mean? Well, everything's web-based, right? You got to log in somewhere, and then you do your technical analysis and you place your trades. But when we talk about web-based, we talk about cloud-based platform that could be accessed from a browser, right? From a browser on your computer. So let's go ahead and take a look at my setup right now on the platform. And, I'm using a Chrome browser right now, right? I'm using a Chrome browser right now. You can use other browsers if you want, but this one works pretty nicely for me. And I have the dark, background set up on this thing. And I have all the components organized the way I'd like them. Now, just kind of let me walk you through what you're looking at really quickly here. We have a trading ladder, depth of market dome here on the left-hand side, right? And then at the top, I have a quote board. And I'll go into detail in each one of these areas. And they're modules, right? They're modules, we call them. You can move them around. This is how I like to position it. But I have my quotes here, and I have my orders down here, right? I have all of my orders that I've entered on the day. And then I have my positions also, which is a module. I'm going to say it wrong all morning long, but I consolidated it into one area. So that's that. And on the right-hand side, I have a chart. Now, there's other controls and there's other areas of information around the borders of the platform. But when I say modular, you could grab a unit, right, with your mouse. You just hold down the left mouse key and you drag it to a different position. In this case, I'm going to put the trading ladder in the middle as an example, and I'll let it go. And so once you do that, then you could kind of, control your borders and all that stuff. And really it's unlimited to how many different modules you could have, where you could position them on your desktop. Maybe you have more than one desktop. I'm doing everything on one desktop right now. And it's particularly handy. I'm going to go ahead and move it back here. It's particularly handy for a couple of reasons, right? So maybe I have another laptop that I'd like to take with me somewhere. I don't know, to the coffee shop. I haven't had enough coffee today, and I want to log in through my VPN. And maybe I'm on vacation, or maybe I just like trading from my laptop, right? Or from another machine that's different than my primary machine. or maybe I just like web-based, right? Maybe I just like web-based applications. So it's really a personal preference thing, but it's another tool in the toolbox that where you could access quotes, you could access everything, right? And they're all in sync, right? With depending on who your broker is, many of these accounts are in sync. So that's kind of the basic outline of what this is. And let's go through this. It's relatively intuitive, right? So we have a plus sign at the upper left here. It says add modules, right? And well, okay, let's click on that and see what that does. It opens up, a dialog box here, and it says, hey, what do you want to add? You want to add another quote board? You want to add a chart? You want to add another trading ladder? Another orders window, positions window? Do you want to add an order ticket? Maybe you want to do that. And there's all of these other components as well that you could add as a module to the actual to your desktop, what you're looking at, right? I already have everything already added, so I'm not going to hit the add button already. But just click on one of these buttons, boom, and it will pop it up. And then you could position it the same way I just showed you how to move the dome, the trading ladder, as an example. And then there's some defaults here. I have the dark default set as well. You could import from files, some more advanced stuff here as well. So you got options here. And you could even, like I just kind of changed mine a little bit. I could change it a little more and create a name. I can call it CAG's Desktop or whatever I want. So that's how you add module. It's really easy. And again, you could customize it however you like. The way I have mine customized, it's just a matter of the basic stuff I like to look at, right? My quotes as an example and all of that stuff. So the next button over, trading. Click on that, and it brings up an old-fashioned trade ticket here, right? It's pretty straightforward. It's old-fashioned. You could trade the market just by clicking in here and searching for another market, or you want to buy or you want to go long, you want to go short, change your quantity, all of this kind of stuff. This is pretty typical trade ticket, right? Now, I prefer to trade on the trading ladder or on the chart themselves, which are also options that you have with the web-based. So that's what that does, right? Boom, you want to put a ticket order in. Alerts, there's an alert. You could set alerts, and then you could search. These are the top 4 functions on the left-hand side. And you can see I have my time set for my local time. That's East Coast time. Moving across here, it recognizes, hey, Jim, you only have a SIM account. You want to open up a real account, click there. We have account information here on the next one over. I'm in my demo account, as you can see. If I had more than one account, it would be listed in this drop-down menu, and I could always log out when I'm done for the day, right? Equity, this shows me what my equity is, how much money I have in my SIM account, right? This is a real-time SIM account. And then next to it, you'll see open P&L, right? That's you can see it's moving around, right? Because I have a position open already, and it's kind of moving around, telling me what my open P&L is. In other words, trades that I haven't closed. And then over here this is really, really cool. This is where you check on your margin status, right? I'm going to click on it, and it's going to open up a window, and it's going to give me a whole bunch of reports here. And we'll go into detail on these reports at the end, but I did want to open it up just to show you. You could track your total margin used, right? You can see I'm using $500 in day trade margin. I have one position open in the E-mini S&P, and then it tells me what my available margin is for additional positions for day trades. And then down at the bottom here, it has the initial margin. It's at 22%. That means, hey, if you wanted to make this a position trade or hold this position overnight, this is how much margin you're using, set by the CME group. There's no discretion here. Here's how much margin I'm using for that one position. And then it reminds me of my day trade margin. Maintenance margin is the next level of margin. And again, I won't go into too much detail, but this is how much money you need in this to continue this position past the first day. So that's kind of some detail. And again, we'll go through all of this stuff in a little bit more detail. There's some super cool stuff there as well. But I just kind of want to go around the margins here, and then we'll talk about how to customize windows and stuff like that. We have this little application settings button up here in the upper right-hand corner. You click on that, it's going to open up a new page. And most of the time when you click on something to change a setting or something like that, it opens up a new page, and then you can just X out of it. There's an X on the right-hand side where you just X out of it. Right away, okay, maybe you want a light background. Maybe you want to auto make your own background colors. I have the dark one chosen. That's the default. And then there's other categories as well. Auto roll contracts, I have that enabled. Notifications, tickers, here's where I set my time and local time. And then this is super cool because I get all of my notifications, order, news, audio, push, all of that stuff to my cell phone. And so you could obviously change that, but if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. You want to end an account summary email to you, you could do that as well. And then some hotkeys here, I have them disabled for now. You click on it to enable the hotkeys if you want. And then confirmations the same way. Do you want some confirmations? Do you want to be asked when placing an order? Do you want to be asked when closing a module? Do you want to be asked when creating a new alert? And you could turn these on or off to however you want. Security and privacy, again, you could disable if maybe you're showing somebody your technical analysis chops and you want to hide your account number, right? You could do that. So that's pretty basic stuff on the settings thing. Usually once you set it up once, you never really want to change it. And going down on this right-hand side here, we have current news. You click on that and you get this news feed here, which is pretty cool. It's from RTT News and from investing.com. And then you'll see some articles here. And if there's anything that interests you, then you just click on full article. And again, it'll open it up in a web browser, a brand new page. I'll just do it just to show you how it works. And then this one says U.S. stocks showing a lack of direction. Well, last time I checked, we were in a pretty solid bull trend move, but this is what RTT News thinks. Anyway, I'm kidding. That was an article for today. And that's kind of true. Everything's kind of slowed to a halt. So again, I could pin this to the layout, or I could just close it when I'm done browsing it as well. There's a chat feature here. Again, it's going to take you to the control panel where you could set that up. And this is, again, browser-based. It's also a help menu. There's notifications, which you might get, right? And it'll be in this area right here. Again, I'm going to exit out. And a lot of this is click and X out, click and X out. There's some reports here, which is the page we just were looking at. Again, we're going to go into detail here on the reports page in a little bit. And then there's community indicators. What does that mean? Well, there's a lot of indicators and stuff you could add to the boilerplate platform as well. And you can scroll down here. You can see there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. You could search. You could read descriptions for they're basically add-ons, right? You're going to install add-ons here if any of these things are something you're looking for or you're familiar with. So you basically could beef it up, right? This is a web-based platform with adding a little steroids to it, right? I'm going to go ahead and X that off, and then a help button here on the right. So that's kind of the anatomy of this, of the margins here, the little buttons here. And again, mostly it's pretty intuitive, right? Pretty intuitive. Now, let's start with the charts here on the right-hand side. You'll see in this particular module, you have a couple of areas. You have a toggle, you have a view settings, and you have these two arrows that are shooting to the right. And then you have an X if you want to close the module. Well, I'm going to expand it. So that's full size, right? It tells you full size, boom, and expands it. And so now you have a full size chart that you could work with. So you're not confined to that one little space, right? You could kind of now do your technical analysis. And while we're at it right now, let's take a look. Let's focus on the charts. We have a thing called view settings. Let's click on that. And this is kind of important. So you have contract details, which will put more contract details on the top of the chart. Let's click on that. And you'll see here, it added this ribbon up here, if you will, with, bid, ask, ask, E-mini, S&P. If you don't want that up there and you want to save real estate, you just unclick it and it goes away. Everything toggles on or off here. Now, trade mode, you want to actually be able to trade from the chart itself. You turn on trade mode, and then it gives you that option, the ability to trade from the chart itself. And we're gonna go into detail in the next Monday on how to do that. We're gonna really focus on the charts next Monday. But this is just kind of how you toggle it on and off. Now, another toggle point is stop type. Again, I just leave this, stop. I just leave it as a stop market. I don't do anything fancy with stop limits or anything like that, but you could do that as well. And then I think that's it for the view settings. No, we're not even close to being done. All right, rolling. Let's skip over the bar countdown settings for a second. Roll forward. Let's say that this was still showing, I don't know, June E-mini S&P. I know we're trading in September. I could click that roll forward. It will roll the contract forward to the next front month, the main contract we want to trade. Same is true for roll backward. Maybe I rolled too far. But remember, I have mine on automatic settings anyway. bar countdown. If you want to add an alert and a countdown to bars, you could do it from here. I don't have that turned on right now, but it's pretty, again, you could set your own interval. You could play an alert when it happens. You could do all of that stuff right from that area as well. All right, so the chart itself, chart is 12. You could just move with the mouse, right? You could kind of move it with the mouse. Just grab it, left click, and move it around to suit your positioning. You also have a plus button to zoom in. And then with that, you select actually highlight an area you want to zoom into, and it does it. And then you have the zoom out button, which will bring you back. So let me do that again. Let's say you just wanted to zoom into this last part of the chart where we started to break down. You would go ahead and just hit the plus button, and then you're just going to make a rectangle just by clicking on the chart, and that's going to let you do that, right? So that's pretty handy too. And at first I thought, well, that's kind of weird, but then I was like, wow, this is really handy because now I could focus on just a couple of data elements that I want to focus on before I go back to my long-term analysis. So that's what those pluses and minus buttons do. I have a 10-minute time period loaded. You could pick whatever time period you want. There's some default settings that are already here: 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour day, custom time, ticks, volume, range, momentum range, seconds, and recent custom timeframes. Now you create a custom time frame by clicking on custom time frame. I've already done that. So I'm going to click on recent custom timeframes, and you'll see I've got that 10-minute there, right? I like the 10-minute. Everybody knows I love the 10-minute. So that's already there. Then just click again on the time frame, and that drop down goes away. It comes, it goes. Next one over. What type chart do you want? Candlestick, bars, line, bid, ask, volume, Heikin-Ashi, Renko, point and figure, and TPO. This one requires an upgrade. So if I just wanted, let's just switch it to bars really quickly. This just shows me an open, high, low, close bar versus the candle that I had on before. So it's really easy and quick to toggle back and forth if you want to. And I'm turning it back on. Next area, chart settings. Let's click on that. Let's see what that does. So you could add a grid. I think the grid's a little complicated. I'll add it. A lot of lines for me. So, as everybody knows, I'm a little bit older and I can't see so good. So the lines kind of mess it up for me. So I'm going to take the grid off. And then what else do we have? We have current positions, fills and orders. I could show all of this stuff on the charts themselves, right? Price levels. I could show open, high, low. Let's just add the high price, and it'll show the high price of the day. Let's go ahead and click on. Oops, where'd I go? Wrong one. Okay, so now that I clicked on it, let's try it again. There we go. That's better. See that green line up there? It added this is the high of the day, right? A lot of traders like to track the high of the day and the low of the day, and they want a graphical representation of where it's at so they can get kind of a depth, right? What are we looking for in terms of depth of this market right now? How far are we away from the highs? How far are we away from the lows? So let's keep moving here. Let's go back to settings. I can do low price, middle price, show all, hide all, show P&L on price line, and then the settings here. I'll click on that settings thing, and then it's going to give me some more options for price level settings. I already have high enabled, low is not, open is not, and then percents from high to low also is kind of a cool thing, right? It's kind of a cool thing. So anyway, I'm going to hit save and OK. So that's what the chart settings does, right? It looks like a square with some dashes, a square made out of dashes, as we would say in the business. Chart elements. Well, configure chart elements here. This is a way I could either edit or get rid of the two studies that I have on this chart, right? I have relative strength index, or RSI. That's at the bottom panel of this particular layout. And then I also have Bollinger Bands, right? So again, I could delete them, or I could kind of look at them, hide them rather, and it just kind of tells me what I have going on there. Now, the next one over allows me to add stuff. Indicators. I could add channels. And those are, think about those like Bollinger Bands, Keltner channels, things that kind of wrap around market, right? Daily pivots are here. Arun is there, and that's in channels. Moving averages. You got, all the usual suspects, right? You have simple moving average, you have exponential, you have weighted, triangular, and then hull as well. And the add one is you're simply going to click on it, and then you could go ahead and just define your style, right? 14 period. I'm just making it up. I have lines colored, and then my imports on flows of the data, which is what I want it to be. And then everything else is good. So I'm gonna hit save, and you can see that light blue line there. It added it pretty nicely right to the middle. It almost looks like the middle of the Bollinger Band, which is the orange lines, but it's not. It's actually a 14 period EMA. And again, if I want to get rid of it, I would go configure chart elements, and then I could just go ahead and say simple moving average. Nope, I'm going to put it in the trash can, and I'm going to get rid of it. Indicators. I'm going to go back and see what else we have. We have oscillators. A lot of oscillators you could add to this, all the regular suspects and then some, right? We have RSI, we have Chaikin, we have slow stochastics, and Williams percent R, some all the usual suspects and then some. And then on volatility, we have some volatility thing, badge average true range, which is the Tom Schneider favorite, as everybody knows. Bollinger bandwidth, mass, and volatility, standard deviation. So again, you could kind of go through here and see if any of these things you'd like to add. You want to add the money flow index. You could add the money flow index. It's really easy to do. So those are your options for indicators. And remember, you have the plugins too that we already talked about, where you could beef this up as well. So that's pretty much the basics of the chart. And then the drawing tools are over here. So there's the data box and then the crosshairs, but the drawing tools here gives you, lines and horizontal, vertical, Fibonacci, trend, regression channel, text, and all the important stuff that you need. You just select one, right? And you say, all right, I want to do a fib line. I'm gonna do it from the opening range high and bring it down to the low. I'm gonna make this chart a little cluttered, and boom, now I have a fib line painted on the chart, which is great. We're at the 61.8% retracement. Which way are we going? This is looking down, but I could be wrong. Looking negative, but I could be wrong. So that's kind of, that's it. Now remember, this little full-size arrow here on the right-hand side, upper right, that collapses it back to normal. So now I've collapsed it back into the area I started at, and it's all good. I could expand it again, or I could change the chart to something else, right? I just going to double click up here, and it's going to give me a ability to either look at the ones I've already looked at today, or come up with a new symbol. Right? I could do, MNQ as an example. MNQ, and it's going to MNQ, and it's going to give me my options. Here are all my options. Well, this is the one I'd like to pick, is the September 2023 contract, and I click it, and it'll change it, and I got to hit this thing to straighten it out, and there we go. Now we have an MNQ micro NASDAQ on the chart. Alternatively, I could open up another tab here. See, it says new tab, and I could click on that new tab, and I can create a new one. And in that new tab, I could put E-mini S&P, I could put crude oil or whatever I want. So I can have a series of these things all the way across the top if I prefer to do it that method. And this particular, I like having the one up here, and then being able to consciously think about what my next one is on the way over. So that's pretty much the charts. Again, experiment, get a sim account, experiment in sim mode, and there's my data box. Super cool. All right, that's kind of that's the charts. Any questions on that? Type them in. Be happy to comment on them. Let's kind of move over now to my quote board here. My quote board also, so I have a the way I have this organized, I'm just going to pull it down a little bit so you can see more data. I have quotes here. Again, this is a module. If you don't see a quotes module, you could add one with the plus button, right? And you just go to quote board, and that's how you get it. I have I have the markets I'm primarily interested in up here right now, right? So this is just a general list. Stock index futures at the top. I have some energy contracts in the middle, and I have my treasuries in there as well. I have gold thrown in there, and then a couple of currency pairs: the Euro FX and the Japanese yen. Right now, this is kind of my primary one. So again, there's little tiny icons at the top, additional tabs, toggle, view settings. Let's go to view settings and select columns. Here's the columns that I have. I could, I could take some out. I could add some. I could change them however I want. This is what's visible right now, and this is not. So now if I wanted to remove one that's visible, I didn't want to see this one, you're just going to grab it and move it over to the left-hand column. And now it would take it off. This total volume wouldn't be on my quote board. If I want to add it, I'm just going to go to available and I'm going to drag it over to the right-hand column and it's going to add it. It's really easy peasy. And this is what I like to see: last price, change. And bid offer is not even really that important to me usually. So I could even take those ones off if I wanted to save some space, but we'll leave it there for now and I'll just save. And there we go. There's the quote board right there. And again, remember, you could move stuff around by just moving borders around, right? That's how you can move stuff around to fit it exactly how you want to fit it. So now I've also have a couple extra quote boards here. I have metals, right? I have a metals one that just talks about metals, grains, meats, currencies. There might even be another one here I forgot about, can't remember. But those are the sub. I guess I just want to focus on currency as an example. Here they are, right? Although I do have the RTY in this list, I don't know why. But let's go back to quotes. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. Currencies. RTY is not a currency, right? This is the Russell 2000 stock index futures. It's in the wrong section. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to right click and I'm just going to delete. Now I could do all of this stuff from here, right? I could trade it, go open up a trade ticket, roll forward, roll back. I could drag and drop and place on a dashboard, a dome, a chart, or a tick stream. Here, I'm just going to delete it because I don't want it, right? Now, let's say I wanted to kind of move something around. The dollar index, I can grab the little um on the left-hand side and just drag it down. I just dragged it down to a better position where I like to see it. So that's how you kind of do the quote board. If you want to add something, you just click in here, and then you could add, I don't know, micro DAX. Let's add that. And then I just find it, September, click on it, and it adds it. So that's as simple as that. You just find it, add it, and it's on your list. So that's pretty handy. So that's pretty much it for this section. Again, same thing. You can go full size if you want. You could shrink it back down, and you can manipulate the view of the window any way you want to do it. Let's go down to the next thing that's important to me is my orders, right? Here are all the orders that I've placed today. I've placed quite a few. You could scroll up and you could scroll down. And I'm going to open this one up so we can see it a little bit better. Order ID. I have an action. Did I buy or did I sell? What was my order size? What contracts did I trade? What was my order type? What was my prices? And what was my stop price? Average fill. And then this is important to me, this order status, because if I have a working order, I want to know about it, especially if I forgot about it. So this is an important column as well. And then a timestamp here on the right. And again, that little gear, view settings, click on that gear and you could, again, select columns, right? We could add all of this stuff that I haven't already added over to the visible side for the orders. Now I'm good with what I have up here right now. But if you wanted to add some stuff, you're just going to grab it and just grab the hamburger, move it over to the visible side, hit save, and you're going to get that time and force column that I just put. And in this case, they're all day trades, right? They're all day trades. And then on the settings also, let's see, you could link orders to view. We're not going to do that for today. And then show filters, which is important to me. All right, so here's what that does, right? Show filters. I have it turned on. And I also have standard table view on. But show filters, if I'm looking for working orders, or let's say I just want to see my filled orders. I'll just type in, it's smart. You start typing in the word fill, and it'll show you, here's my filled orders. And this is particularly helpful when you have a lot of orders during the day, and you could search by orders that are still working or orders that are filled, that kind of thing. So that's what that status thing is. Just back out of here, and it'll go back to default. So that's what that other setting is for the actual orders tab. Now, also embedded in this is positions tab. I can make positions its own module if you want. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But instead I put it up here on the within this one, I guess we'll call it module, even though it's two different ones. They're in the same area. So by toggling the positions, then I could see my positions here as well. And you could see here in my yen, I'm 2 for 2. I bought 2, I sold 2, I'm flat. My E-mini S&P, I'm short 1, right? I bought 3 and sold 4 today. And my open P&L is minus 100, minus 87.50. It's moving around because it's an open position. And then NASDAQ, I'm 2 and 2. And then 10-year note, I am 1 for 1. I bought 1, sold 1. So that's pretty handy as well. Double check your positions. And it also gives you an idea of where you have open positions as well. All right, so if I wanted to pull this out of here, I'd grab it with my mouse and put it where I want to put it. And I'm just going to go ahead and position it right above the orders tab. So now I have another module in here, right? So again, you could be creative as you want and really lay this thing out nicely according to your monitor setup and what's important to you. I could have another chart module up, so I could have 2 charts side by side. I could have another trading ladder up, so I could have 2 trading ladders side by side. Domes, depth of market over here on the left. So let's go ahead and talk about the depth of market right now. And this is a trading ladder, right? So, you're going to put your mouse on the price ladder. You could scroll up, you could scroll down. It shows your bids on the left and shows your asks on the right. And since I'm in a position, I have estimated P&L. And right now what this is saying is, hey, Jim, this is where you're short from. There's a little caret here that reminds me that I'm short 1 contract at 46. Well, I'm short at 46.07.5. And this is where the market is, that green label bouncing around. And what this estimated P&L is, it says, hey, Jim, if you get out at this price, this is your gross P&L on the trade, right? Minus $50 right now. And it's going to move around in real time. So that's kind of piece of information number 1, bids and offers. And I have the volume here, the volume profile, tick for tick volume in the right-hand column. Now, at the top here, you'll see some buttons. I could click to go buy at the market. I can click to sell at the market, and I could exit at market and cancel all working orders. You can see my position here is -1. It shows it in red up there. Remind me, hey, Jim, you're short 1, and that's your average price. And I have my quantity set at 1. So the next trade I make is going to be 1 unit. Now I'm going to click on that settings arrow again, and it gives me some information. I could show join the bid and join the offer, which I like. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to give me that join bid and join offer button to complement just the buy market and the sell market. That's kind of number 1. I'm going to go back to settings, and I'm going to skip over show pulling stacking, and I'm going to go to stop type. Again, we talked about this. I just have it as a stop. It's not a fancy stop, just a stop. It'll act like it'll behave like a market order. But you could make it a stop limit, a trailing stop limit, whichever you prefer. Let's go back to settings, see what else we have. Roll forward and roll backward. We've already talked about that. And then there's a settings tab within a settings tab. Let's see what this is. Okay, so this gives you your mouse controls, and this is kind of important. This is a change I made, right? So the first option, which I think is the default, it's limit order, left click, stop order, right click, right? You want to place a limit order, you use your left mouse key, and you want to do a stop right. I changed mine to left click for a limit order and also left click for a stop order, right? And it might sound like I'm making the same trade, but no, it depends on your position on the actual trading ladder. But keep it simple for me. Just I'm clicking the left mouse button to make a trade. That's how I think of it. And then show bid-ask histogram, which we're showing. That's that data. And then show estimated P&L. I don't have to show that if I don't want. I could change my P&L to ticks instead of dollars if I wanted to. And then histogram values we're also showing there as well. So that's kind of how mine is set up right here. So I'll leave that up here for a second so that we could digest it. My big change here is left mouse action, right? Left button action. And then I added estimated P&L. Hit save and OK. Okay, so, like any trading ladder, pretty much it's set up so that you're going to click somewhere to get it to place a trade. So I'm short right now, and let's say I'd like to liquidate this position at, I'd like to buy one back at 46.06. I'm going to click once. So I clicked once. I had one configured, and my order is right there. You can see it, right? So I'm trying to buy one at 46.06. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, alternatively, I want to put a stop loss in. And remember, I'm going to use my left mouse key. But a stop is going to be above the market if I'm if I'm sure, right? Because I don't want it to go too far before it's like, all right, buy me one back. I'm wrong. Notice my mouse is in the bid column. I'm going to click on it, and then I get this graphical representation here in the columns that says, yeah, there's your stop. So there's my stop, there's my target. Now, let's say I wanted to cancel and replace them. I wanted to change them, right? 46.12 is too far away. So I want to change it to, I don't know, let's say 46.10. So I'm going to grab it, and when I say grab it, I'm going to hover my mouse on it, hold my left mouse key down, and I'm going to drag it to the price I want it to be, and I'm going to let go. So it's click and drag. It's not click and click, it's click and drag. And so once I do that, it's just moved it down there, and you can see it's still working. I have my profit target down here too. I could do the same thing with the profit target just by clicking and dragging. I'll go ahead and tighten up the stop a little bit and do it again. Really, really simple. Now, if I just want to get out at the market, I just want to cancel everything, I'm going to hit exit and clear, and it does it. I'm out. No position, position 0. You can see it on the trading ladder. You can see my open P&L over here is not moving around at all. At the bottom, we do have ATM strategies also. Let's see what that's all about. I'm going to go ahead and hit that little gear, I guess the gear, and I have ATMs turned off. Automated trade management, OCO, order cancels order, is what how I'm going to refer to it. I'm going to turn it on, right? I could name it if I want. I could show it in ticks. It's going to be a profit target and a stop loss. Let's just change it to 6 and 6. Profit target 6 ticks, stop loss 6 ticks. Again, don't follow along at home live with me. This is just a demonstration. And then this type of stop is just a market order stop. And I hit OK, and I turned it on. So let's go ahead and just get into a position here. And look at. You can see these little shadows of rectangles on the right-hand side saying, Jim, if you place your order here, this is where your bracket's going to be. If you place it here, this is where your bracket's going to be. Let's go ahead and buy one at 46 even and see what happens. Boom. Now I threw it in. I'm trying to buy a contract at 46.06. Once that happens, that plus is going to be real, right? It's going to turn it into a target, and this is going to turn it into a stop automatically. And then it's an order cancels other. So whichever one's filled, then the other one will automatically get canceled. That's how you do it. So even if it trades at 07.5, I'm not going to get a fill because it's waiting. It's waiting for my entry to become a reality. It's waiting for my 46.06 to get filled. So that's kind of a cool thing. Just remember when you're done using the ATMs, if you want to just go back to manual point and click, you'll go back to that little at the very bottom there. There's that little gear. Go back to that little gear and then just turn ATMs off, right? Just turn ATMs off. So that's pretty much how you use it. There's a lot more stuff we could talk about. There's a lot more detail we could go into on this, and we are going to go into more detail in a couple of future shows. But that's pretty much it. The last thing I did wanted to cover, though, was that report, right? That let's see. Let's go to it right now. Let me remember how to get to it. No, that's not it. Hang on. Chat. Notifications. That's not it. Reports. There we go. It says reports on it. Not that hard to remember. Okay, at the top, we got performance reports, orders, history, cash history, order details, fills, account balance. Let's start with performance for today. My performance for today has not been that good. I could change it to yesterday if I want, or I could change it to last week, this week, any look back I want to see, I could change it to, and it'll give me the report. Let's do today. I'm going to hit go, and it gives me this pretty cool report, actually, with a lot of information. Now I have all my trades, the statistics related to all my trades, profitability, all this stuff up here. Obviously I'm not that profitable today, as you could tell. My profit trades, right? Trades that were successful, it has the stats for those. The trades that were unsuccessful, that doesn't look so good. Is in its own column as well. So you can kind of separate your winners and losers and do a little bit of analysis, particularly how long was I in my losers versus my winners, right? What's the standard deviation of the winning trade? Now, these are all pretty good. What's my max run up going into that? What's my max drawdown going into the losers? So this gives me some really good statistics. And when you compound this over days, weeks, and months, it can give you a really good picture of what you're doing. We have some pie charts down here, P&L history, P&L history cumulative without fees, and some other stuff. We don't need to go into too much detail. We scroll down here and it gives you all sorts of good stuff. And again, this was on today, right? I could have done it on yesterday or this week or whatever I wanted to do. Orders. And by the way, on performance, if you wanted to download it as a CSV or you want to download it as a PDF, you could do that too. That's kind of cool, right? Instead of just hit the Go button. Go just displays it on the screen. Let's go to orders. Same thing. Go, show me all my orders, right? Show me all my orders. And it's broken down my contract, my yen trades, my E-mini S&P trades, my NASDAQ trades, my 10-year note trades. It gives me all the details I could ever want on my actual orders. So again, that's pretty handy, I think. Position history is another tab. It just kind of shows you your position history over time. Order details is another one. I'm missing a parameter for that. I don't have that set up right. Fills is their actual fills, and then account balance history in the far right, which will show you your balance history. So this is kind of handy. This is really, really handy when you're kind of looking for statistics. Remember, you could change the dates. You could modify it to whatever you want. You get a little calendar there. When you pick it up, you can go back in time if you want to look at one particular day or not. And then on the left side, we already covered all that stuff on the left side of the chart. All right. Well, all right. So I did get my position. I'm long at 46. You see that little plus sign on the dome here. Those little plus signs next to my orders are gone. Those are no longer contingent pending orders. Those are in the order book now. They were sent, right? If this were a live account, these would be set to the exchange. But since it's not a live account, it's a sim account. But it's a pretty darn good sim account. And my stop is here, 04 half. If I get 04 half. If I get stopped out there, the profit target will automatically cancel. Order cancels other. Alternatively, if we rally back up, here, well, we didn't. You can see that order automatically got canceled. So now I have peace of mind. I don't have an order that's out there dangling around. I won't get a double fill, and all is good in the universe. All right, I think Dennis on the chat is wondering about my trading strategies. So Dennis, thanks for that comment. So for today's demonstration, this is just literally there was no trade strategies. There's no trade ideas. This was just to get people familiar with the web-based platform, and just some basic overview on how to use the different modules, how to add them, how to delete them. Every module has a little X in the corner. You could delete it. It'll disappear. And so that's that. For trading strategies, Dennis, come to the opening range shows in the morning at 9:15 East Coast time. That's all about trading strategies. We do it every single day. And we have a really terrific group, big crowd that comes to it, exchanging ideas in the chat. It's a lot of fun. So the trading strategy part comes in the opening range in the mornings when I'm a little bit, I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm an early riser, so I'm ready to go when we start. So feel free to join that as well. Tomorrow, we have a really good show also called Traders Workshop. Traders Workshop tomorrow is going to be with Michael Burke and Jose Blasco. Those two have known each other a long time. The Traders Workshop shows tends to kind of highlight vendors that have a particular niche and that are in the NinjaTrader ecosystem, which is if you go to NinjaTrader ecosystem, you'll see, I don't know how many vendors are in there that have add-ons and services all hovering around the NinjaTrader platform. So that is that. Wednesday, Dan Gramza and me, we're going to be live for about a half an hour, See the Future show. That's Wednesday. And that's going to be, we're going to cover the Bank of Japan currency crosses, and why Japan's marching to a different drummer than any other major central bank in the world. So that's going to be there. And then Thursday, we're not done yet. Thursday, Mike Burke's going to be with Anthony Credelli at Develop Your Edge. That's at 10:30 Thursday. So hopefully you'll be able to see some of that stuff as well. Finally, closing out today is going to be Michael Burke again. Remember, Tom Schneider is on vacation this week. Michael's going to be covering for him. Mike's going to be covering for him today at Bars Closing. Must-see show, say 3:30 East Coast time. All right. Having said all that, folks, greatly appreciate your time today. Hopefully, you'll give the web-based NinjaTrader a whirl. We're going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive in the next show, particularly on the charts, and get those things humming pretty nicely. And then we'll do a little bit of trade strategy, Dennis, next Monday. So having said all that, folks, most important message of the day, please be safe out there. Be good to each other. Thanks for coming.